Hi everyone, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. We are going to get started here with Melanie Martinez very soon. I'm just waiting for her to join. We're excited to have a good conversation with Melanie about her NFT drop today, coming up. And we're just going to get her in here and we'll be able to add some questions and the like to the mix. All right, we just got word Melanie's about to join now. For those who don't know, we are going to be talking with her today about her Cyberbaby toy shop drop on Maker's Place. And it's a really interesting drop, and there's also a virtual event in Decentraland for those who collect. So we're gonna learn all about that as soon as she jumps in here. All right. Here she is. All right, we've got Melanie Martinez joining right now. Hey, Melanie, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, I'm good. I'm Matt Medved, CEO of NFT Now, and super excited to chat with you today about your NFT drop.
I'm super excited too. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So why don't we just get started? We can do a little bit of a back and forth. We can chat a little bit about, the fundamentals of NFTs, why, I feel like it's a really exciting development for artists, a little bit of some of the misconceptions about them and cover some of the basics as well, and then hear a bit about your project and the inspiration and everything that came together. So why don't we kick it off? Just for those who are tuning in and maybe don't know, an NFT stands for non-fungible token, which really just refers to a unique digital item on the blockchain. It could be a piece of art, a piece of music, a piece of, a film, pretty much anything. And, what's exciting about NFTs is they, for the first time, really allow provable digital ownership of items like this. So Melanie, why don't we kick it off just to start? Tell us a little bit about how you got into NFTs and what was your journey?
Yeah, so I follow a lot of digital artists, 3D artists. So I always see people putting up projects and stuff. So that was kind of the first introduction, was just seeing it all over Instagram, because I love art and I love following people who are just making something out of nothing. And I think with digital art, it's super exciting, particularly because there's unlimited possibilities. So but yeah, with NFTs in general, I think the main thing that caught my eye with it is digital ownership is so important for art. I feel like, on my journey, I've had really bad issues with people hacking, ruthlessly hacking to get my art, music. I have so many unreleased songs that I wish were not online, but yeah, so it's kind of given where we are with social media right now, it's hard to control. So I think it's really nice to have that sense of privacy and protection over your art. And I think that's my biggest kind of, the thing that drew me the most, I think, to it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, for those tuning in, one of the things that's super exciting about NFTs is that they've allowed digital artists to actually be collected for the first time now. Prior to it, as a digital artist, you kind of had to rely on, client work and then maybe selling some prints here and there. But for the first time, you can see digital artists actually having their work sell to collectors and being able to go to Christie's and Sotheby's and stuff like that, which is just very exciting for the creative world. Why don't we dive into Cyberbaby Toy Shop? Tell us a bit about the drop, the NFT drop it's going to be on Maker's Place, and the inspiration behind it. Because I know it comes from a very deeply personal, nostalgic place for you, right?
Yes, for sure. So I started collecting vintage stuffed animals I don't know, maybe like almost close to like probably 10 years now it's been. So I have a bunch, as you can see, there's some here with me, but yeah, I just love how, you know, handmade they are. And they're, you know, they're just like really beautiful little like creatures that I've had the joy of collecting, and they bring me a lot of joy in my own life. And so, you know, my whole idea with it was I just wanted to bring that into the digital landscape and create these little like personalities and stories, you know, and give them their own life. So that was the goal of this project. And so I'm really excited for people to see, you know, the full extent. It's been like a year in the making working on these. I think February was when I was like drawing the initial sketches for how I wanted them to look, and just their storylines and stuff. So yeah, I'm just really excited. I'm like super giddy about it. Just because, like I said, it's been a long time. I like taking my time and being patient with projects like this that mean a lot to me. And yeah, I'm also like kind of moving from this era of like collecting to now I'm kind of like, you know, like I guess not moving on from it, but I am like going through big personal transformations in my life. So this is kind of like the end of an era with all of this stuff, with this collection. So yeah, it feels very cyclical, and I'm like kind of in that place where I'm like, okay, it's now time to release this project into the world. And you know, also I like the idea of connecting these people who I know are collectors of these items in real life, and also digital art lovers, and kind of blending the two worlds right now. That was like my biggest goal with it as well. So I know a lot of my fans collect these stuffed animals, and so I'm excited for them to have a chance to also collect them digitally.
I love that. I love that. And I think that speaks a little bit to like the ethos behind it, like the collecting experience, like whether it was, you know, Pokemon cards, whether it was baseball cards, whether it was stuffed animals, like whether it was stickers, whatever it was, like we all kind of grew up as kids collecting things. And like the NFT space kind of like brings back that inner child in a way, right? It's like this digital version of all of that. And it's super exciting. I'd love to hear a bit about your creative process and like how the art came together, how like, you know, I know we got Stoner Swan, we got Narcissistic Duck, we got Doing Out Mother. Like tell us a little bit about the art and the concepts as they came together.
Yeah, I mean, well, I love alliteration, and I love like puns and stuff. So that was like my kind of basis for how I was like going about creating their storylines and giving them life. So like Stoner Swan, I was like, oh man, I just really want the Swan to like hot box this like, you know, little like toy box. I think it would be so rad. So that's kind of what's going on in the animation. Yeah, and just like working closely to make sure that like the sounds and stuff are reflective of the story and what's going on in each of them. But yeah, it really is about just collecting and creating like fun, I don't know, just like fun art that people can collect. Like you said, it is a very like, it brings out your like inner child, and it's very exciting. So that was kind of my main goal with it. But the creative process, yeah, like I was just on Procreate one day and was just like drawing a bunch of sketches. I think it started actually with the bunny, which is going to be on the second drop. But yeah, so yeah, I just started sketching a bunch of stuff, and then eventually I was like, man, it would be so cool to see these in like an animated form. So just like working with friends and stuff, and like creating these like really beautiful art pieces, and taking our time with it too, and not rushing, because like, you know, I feel like there was a lot of buzz with NFTs at first, and people were just kind of throwing stuff out there. But like, I was just really excited to make art that I felt really compelled to make, but also just excited by, that was reflective of how I look at these characters in real life. I wanted them to be as realistic as possible. So obviously that takes time, like anything. So yeah, I'm really proud of them. I'm just, like I said, I'm so giddy. I can't wait. I can't believe it's today. It feels like it's been like almost a year. So it's pretty wild.
That's wild, but that's actually very wise. It's like a lesson I often tell people when they're entering NFT space, like take your time, don't rush it, do it right. It's going to be on the blockchain forever, you know? So you want to make sure it represents you well. And there's, you know, so it sounds like you've done that well. Let's chat a little about the drop. So the drop is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, 3:30 p.m. Pacific. Is that correct? On Maker's Place? Perfect. And I know that there's a number of pieces available. And actually, there's also going to be a virtual event in Decentraland that collectors are going to have access to. Let's chat a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're going to like recreate, you know, the space at Makers in Decentraland, and I'm going to have a little avatar and hang out with people and talk and stuff. So that'll be fun. I'm really excited. It's like, I'm so new to this world, so I'm just excited to like meet friends, like more like art lovers, digital art lovers in general. And like, I'm super introverted and very shy usually. So feels like a nice, like, warm, like community to enter. So I'm really excited to be here. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And that's actually something that's also really interesting about NFTs is the way that they actually, I always say like an NFT sale is actually a beginning. It's not an end, right? It's the beginning of like a bond you create with your fans. And, one thing that's really interesting is, you can actually take a look, like after this drop happens, you'll be able to see which wallets own your NFTs, and you can actually like continue to like communicate, reward them like directly, and without having to worry about like the Instagram algorithm or the YouTube algorithm, like all of these things like and advertisements and things that kind of get in the way on these centralized systems. So that's kind of exciting too. So I know you mentioned there's like a second series in the works too. Like, how are you kind of thinking about this as the first step in like this creative journey?
Like I said, I'm so new to this world, so I'm really just learning every day, and I'm just really excited for people to see the different, little creatures that I've been working on. The first 5 that we're putting out are super cute, and obviously, like, they're like I think this drop and 2 from the other ones are like my absolute favorites. Like the narcissistic duck is just like beyond. Like I think it's so funny and I love it so much. Stoner Swan, obviously, it's like I'm a pothead, so I love it so much. I think it's just like cute. But yeah, like I don't know. I'm just excited to continue to release art and hope that people like it. That's all you can do,
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, it's important to note that, this drop is carbon neutral. So you were really thoughtful when it comes to the environmental impact. You worked with Ariel, right? Which is a sustainability platform that calculates what that carbon footprint will be and then allocates, to high quality conservation projects. So maybe chat a little bit about why that was important to you. And I can also chime in a bit on some common misconceptions about NFTs in the environment, because there's a lot of buzz going around about it. So.
Yeah. Totally. It's super important, obviously, to be mindful of the environment and our impact in everyday life. In my own life, like I mostly collect vintage. I have vintage furniture, vintage clothes. Like obviously everybody does with their own life with their diet and whatever, but I primarily eat vegetarian or vegan meals. Worst case, pescatarian. I don't own a car. I don't drive. So I like to keep things pretty chill in that regard. And I think, it was definitely scary entering this space because, I do care. And I also want to make sure that anything that I do is going to be environmentally conscious, or just in general, in my own life, just conscious regarding everything. I'm very careful and thoughtful when it comes to this stuff. So I'm really excited to be partnering with Ariel in that way because I think it's important for artists, if they are entering this space, to just do research and to make sure that you're like I said, being careful and, working with people who know what they're doing and can help you, release things in a carbon neutral way. So, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, it's interesting, too, because there's been a lot of headlines about NFTs and the environment. And, I do want to clear up a couple of misconceptions about it because, one thing that a lot of people kind of see is that, like creating an NFT is equivalent to like this amount of, of a carbon footprint. What's actually interesting is that a lot of them kind of misunderstand how Ethereum works. The Ethereum blockchain is actually going to have the same carbon footprint whether NFTs existed or not. It's not like creating an NFT actually adds to that.
Right.
It's a static thing. And it's also important to kind of zoom out because the Ethereum blockchain in its entirety only makes up 0.02% of our entire carbon footprint. And to put that in context, like agriculture is like 13%, you know what I mean? And like all these different bigger sectors. So just to put it in context, the entire Ethereum blockchain, so all the NFTs that are ever being made, really only has about the same carbon footprint as one tech company, like it's pretty much equivalent to like YouTube, so it's just important to keep that perspective.
Like, right. Zooming out is definitely very crucial for sure. Yeah.
But I think, look, even though it's a small percentage of the pie, very tiny, it's still a percentage. And so I think like that's why it's important, to always, even if every little bit helps, to be able to do that offset. And so I'm glad to see you working with Ariel on that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very excited about it.
Awesome. Well, what else do you have coming up in the works? By the way, we're also going to open it up to some fan questions. I know I'm already starting to see, I'm seeing the notifications. So you can actually submit a question at the bottom of the IG Live. There's that question box, and we'll go through a few of them. But before we jump in there, what are you working on? What else do you have in the works? What do you got coming up that you can tell us about?
Well, I'm working on my third album, and I'm working on my second film. So I finished writing my script, which is very exciting. And now I'm just kind of in the process of, trying to find people to partner up with and actually bring it to fruition. And then with my album, I'm pretty much done just working on, production stuff, mixing, mastering. And then, I'm hoping to be able to release stuff this year. I'm hoping my first single I could put out in like March or April. That's like my goal. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm working on. I'm really excited for people to see it too, because it's a very big departure from everything I've put out in the past. And it's like, it obviously follows the storyline of the character that I've been living under for the past 6 years of Crybaby, but she's evolving and it's more existential and, kind of digging deeper into, I guess, I can't say too much. I'm using my words very carefully because I don't want to like give away anything, but I'm just excited to put it out hopefully this year. That's my goal. Yeah.
Sounds good. I saw the hearts were going crazy during that part. Any mention of new music. So we're going to go to the question section. If anyone has submitted some questions for Melanie, we can jump into them. Let's see. In the meantime, there's one. Let me see if I can get it up there. Are you like what are you inspired by currently for like the upcoming music projects? Like what are sort of like the inspirations you're drawing on?
Okay. Biggest inspirations I will say that I've been drawing on is I read a lot of books about like past life regression therapy. So if anyone reads anything about past life regression therapy and death, I will just say that is it. I'm basically giving it away. I mean, like, yeah. So that's all I'll say. I'm just gonna say. Wow. But yeah. So that's yeah.
I love that. We've also got a question from Gracie Hutchinson. She asked, "What's your favorite album and why that you've worked on?"
I would say, working on Crybaby was like. It was my first time making an album, so I think it's always going to hold a very special place in my heart. But I will say that K through 12 was a really beautiful process, and it was much more intentional and focused. I feel like with Crybaby, I was experimenting so much, and I was still finding myself in a lot of ways. And I think with K through 12, I was more everything was more refined and I was like really isolated. I worked with like one producer the entire project and just like really honed in on what I wanted to create with that one. Mm-hmm. And then this project I think has been the most satisfying or fulfilling because, it's combining two things that I'm really interested in with it, which is again, all the, past life regression therapy and past lives in general and death and all that stuff. That's like a huge like interest, I guess, of mine, just in my normal daily life. Like if I wasn't an artist, I think I would probably try to be somewhere in that field because I just find it so interesting and I love it so much. So I think this next project is really exciting for me because it's combining both film and music and art plus all of that stuff together. So it's like a dream project for me, really. And the movie particularly, I'm really excited about. And like I said, hoping that I can find the right people to work with to bring that to fruition because it's like the type of project that I like. I can't die before putting this out. Like I need to put it out. It's like one of those. It's
unfinished business,
yeah.
right? That brings up a nice, interesting point is like, one thing that I've heard from so many artists about NFTs is they get really excited about how NFTs help them rethink the creative canvas a little bit. You're someone who is in music, you're in art, you're in TV, you're in film, you've got a lot of different creative elements going. And what's cool is like you can kind of pair those elements together on a digital medium in a different way than you can on like a physical. Just wanted to hear like, how does that inspire you sort of as a creative who thinks on different mediums?
I mean, it just feels like infinite possibilities. And I feel like that's the best case scenario with creating in general. I feel like creating is like this very spiritual, activity that we're able to, we're able to make something out of nothing. We have our little antennas and we're picking up on a signal and we're able to materialize it and make something. And, with technology rapidly progressing and moving, there's so many infinite possibilities on what you can create, and especially in the NFT space. So yeah, I just like I said, I just encourage artists to just really get creative and witness that kind of sense of infinite possibilities and to make something of it, because we're in a really cool time right now. And yeah, it's a fun time. I think it's worth it for sure. So
for sure. All right, one other question. Who are some visual artists that inspire you?
Visual artists. I love Nicoletta Cecily, Mark Ryden. I love just pop surrealism. I feel like those are my biggest inspirations though. But yeah, just any pop surrealist artist and anyone who's just making fun, interesting, weird shit. I just love art so much. So really, yeah, everything inspires me. Even just walking, taking a walk down the block, I'll always find inspiration in something. I feel like we're living, the fact that we exist and that we are living is such a beautiful thing. And the fact that we, we're able to just pick up things in our daily life. And like I said, really alchemize it and turn it into something. We can turn our pain into something really beautiful and creative. And I think it's just, yeah, it's amazing. So everything inspires me.
Love that. I got to do the classic question. Everyone's asking it. When are you coming to Brazil?
Oh my God. I don't know. With COVID, it's so hard to say. I don't even know when I'm touring next, but hopefully soon. That would be so awesome. I'd love to see everyone over there. I miss touring a lot. It's something that really is weighing heavy on my heart. So I can't wait to tour again. Hopefully end of this year. That would be so amazing if I could. But obviously, COVID puts a little wrench in the plans. So we'll see. For sure.
Another question we got was, which of the stuffed animals behind you means the most to you and why?
It's not these, but there's the bunny one. God, it's somewhere over there. I could go grab it. Give me 1 second.
Sure, go for it. I can see the hearts rising in anticipation.
Okay. This one is my absolute favorite. I actually, it's funny. I collect them and I've been collecting them for a while, but my friend, one of my best friends, actually had this one and gave it to me. They were living here for a bit and then they gave it to me when they were moving out. So it's very sentimental to me. And also it's one that I've been looking for forever. And my friend ended up gifting it to me. So I think that's just makes it even more special. I'm never ever getting rid of this one. Yeah. So yeah, I love it. I love their little hand painted faces and all the love. You can see that there was a lot of time and effort put into these little creatures. So yeah.
Love that. Well, same for their digital counterparts, right?
Exactly.
On the NFT side. So I think, do you have any kind of closing words, anything you wanted to say about the drop or the release before we wrap?
The one thing I will say is I know on my story earlier, I posted that, I think we changed it. So there's just one bit of information I want to clarify. I think originally it was if you bought one of the stills, then you were able to you're entering automatically to win an animation. But now we actually have it so that if you just sign up on my drop page on Maker's Place, you're basically you're entering to win one of the animations. So that's important for anyone that wants to know. Just sign up on the drop page on Maker's Place and you'll be able to enter to win. So yeah.
There it is. So just to recap, Cyberbaby Toy Shop, an NFT drop happening today on Maker's Place, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:30 p.m. Pacific. And very exciting. Happy to have you entering the NFT space. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I feel very welcomed. I appreciate it.
Good. It's a great community full of creatives.
I'm super excited.
Well, wonderful. Melanie, it's been a pleasure. Great chatting with you.
Thank you.
I'll see you around the metaverse.
Awesome. See you then. Bye.
All right. Take care.
Thanks.